Let's turn now to what's happening in the oil market and futures in focus. We're joined now by Scott Bauer, the CDO of Prosper Trading Academy. Let's talk a bit about what's happening in the crude market. Big move lower in TI today. We're getting a big move lower in Brent as well. But look, Scott, the spread between Brent and TI, it's pretty substantial right now, and it's getting bigger once again. We're at $7 a barrel roughly. What is it going to take to bring these two in line? Do you think it's going to happen anytime soon?
Yeah, it is getting to that outer edge. You know, if you look historically here, Guy, we've seen it, you know, as wide as $10, $11, and just recently it was almost trading at parity. So what it's going to take is really, in my opinion, opening up of the economy here, because, and I'm talking about in the States where we use West Texas. And that is because, as you guys have just, you know, completely hit spot on, there's nowhere to put oil anymore. All of the production here in the U.S., the shale, everything, there's nowhere to store it any longer. So that is what, besides the demand destruction, that is what is absolutely just annihilating the price of oil here. Traders that I've spoken to, you know, these are actual, you know, oil traders from the trading floor, tell me that the Cushing space, that we're talking about Cushing, Oklahoma now, which is being reported is about 70% full. That's where storage of West Texas goes. They're telling me that all available space is already leased for the next, you know, coming months here. So there literally is nowhere to put this oil.
I'm also hearing, and Anne-Marie Horton was talking about this a little bit earlier on, we're getting a lot of volatility in the front month, the June contract, and then we're getting into July as well. People are just avoiding those contracts, and it becomes kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, because the more people that withdraw and don't want to play at the front end of the curve, the more volatile those contracts become, the more people want to avoid them. Is that where we are now? You just don't want to go near those front 2 month contracts.
Oh, there's no question about it. And what you're seeing is in West Texas especially, you know, investors, traders, they're moving out to those later months because of what just happened here. The next settlement dates, you have May 19th for the next West Texas contract, but not until May 29th for the next Brent contract. So that 10-day span, which doesn't seem like a lot, it is a lot in this world. And that is also causing that, you know, this bigger spread that we're seeing between West Texas and Brent, and probably going to expand even more. But you hit it spot on. Traders, investors alike don't want to have the risk of that coming near-term expiration contract.
Just in terms of what we can now expect, we're getting a lot of volatility. That is now a given. The oil price is going to be bouncing around all over the place. What signal, though, do you think it is sending? How clean a signal is the oil market right now for the wider economy?
It's not at all, quite frankly. There is such a divergence between, you know, historically what we see in the commodity space, specifically the oil space, to the equity market. There's such a disparity right now. So I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't count on what is happening right now in the oil space to give us any real indication of what is happening overall economically or in you know, the equity space, because there's such this disconnect. But again, we're not talking about financials, and we are talking about economics, but the economics right now are totally based off of what is happening with COVID. And as soon as we actually get to start opening up the economy, and I'm not talking about here and there bits and pieces, I'm talking maybe we get back to 25%, 30% of, you know, what can be considered normal, I think you're going to see a big spike up in oil, but really not until that time.
Okay, that's fascinating. Scott, always good to get your take. Thank you very much indeed. Scott Bauer, the CEO of Prosper Trading Academy, joining us out of Chicago.